what makes a great man? And how do we quantify it?
He shaped my destiny.
He was a role model. He was a father.
It was different.
By love? Something he shared in abundance?
Burian was ever ready to lift up somebody else.
As an inspiration for a generation?
He had a very strange passion and love for Nigeria.
We believed so much that, especially as Nigerians, we could achieve.
And it gives you every opportunity to actually develop.
Or as a visionary, foreseeing the potential of a nation.
He was ahead of the rest of us in this country.
How does one put together this jigsaw that is Burian? Born and raised amongst this large and proud family, it is clear that Burian was long recognized to be different and special amongst his siblings.
Láti yá bí díẹ̀, kò ṣe pò kejì rí. Ó ní number 1 in school títí tó fi jáde secondary school.
Ọlọ́run fún ní ẹ̀bùn tìwé. Ó fún ní magnet brain nípa tìwé.
If there was any moment or event that can be ascribed to being the significant moment, the time where we can say the first steps of this journey was taken, it has to be his admission into the reputable Government College, Ibadan.
Government College sought to take in the best of the best. They were the best in their primary schools, and they were collected from the Federation.
Disciplined, well-behaved, and a bookworm were words that easily come to mind when describing young Burian.
He was a good listener. He didn't talk much. He only answered when he was called.
Oníwà jẹ́jẹ́ ni.
Very conservative. He did just what he wanted to do. He was a very, very, very brilliant mind. And that was why I enjoyed sitting next to him, because it was easier for me to tap on his brain and his answers.
He held his own in the social and sporting texture that GCI was famous for.
He played very good cricket. And he played not only for Swanston House, he played for Government College.
He has his record for many years at the Government College. Wait, try.
The debt tí wọ́n máa ń fún wọn ní uniform. Àwọn náà wọ́n wọ sergeant ni wọ́n ń lò nígbà tó wà ní Ìbàdàn College.
We all got into trouble at one time or the other and served detention, served punishment. But for some strange reasons, Buri was never caught. No matter how much he offended, we would be the ones to see him offending. But the authorities never saw him.
Life spent in GCI was where the foundation was laid. And upon departure in 1962, he worked at Green Springs Hotel, Ibadan, until August 1963, when he departed for the United States to study engineering physics at Cornell University, Ithaca, New York.
Níṣẹ́, ó like kó work. So ó làwọn school wo ń gbà yẹn tán ní ọmọ kan tó wà báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ kí ká ràn lọ́wọ́ ọ̀nà fi mú jáde. Wọ́n fi jẹ́ pé Kọ́lá Chief ni wọ́n bá lọ sí Canada nígbà tí wọ́n lọ.
He graduated from Cornell with a bachelor's degree in 1967. He proceeded to pursue graduate studies in electrical engineering at McGill University, Montreal, Canada. He moved to Ottawa in 1973 to start his job. He got married there to Suzanne Markham in 1979.
In latter years, we heard that he was married to a Canadian, white Canadian lady. It did not surprise a lot of us because I'm sure he believed genuinely that he would marry for love. And he fell in love with his wife, and there was no looking back.
And in 1980, they had their first child, Quentin Biola. Twin girls, Julia Taiwo and Vanessa Kehinde, were to follow later in 1985. He later moved back to Nigeria with the intention of starting a telecommunications consultancy business.
Ó dẹ̀ padà dé ní 74 yẹn, gbogbo oyè ẹ̀ tó ti gbà, ó ti gboyè gan.
He didn't need to come to Nigeria. He had a good family setup, and the sky was his limit amongst his peers. But he did not forget his roots.
He was in a very good position in Canada, but he wasn't satisfied because his people were lacking the knowledge. So he had to come down. In fact, he came with a small car.
He came with a golf car, what you call golf now, but it was actually a rabbit. They called it rabbit car. We were laughing at that, and we brought a rabbit car to Nigeria and so on.
He soon discovered that industry was strongly dominated by foreign companies, and a Nigerian company had only a slim chance of success.
Up to the time I met Dr. Carew, there was no indigenous telecommunications engineering consultant in the field that government was relating with.
Not to be deterred, he joined one of the foreign companies, and after 5 years with a group of other engineers and business associates,
He invited me to start Telnet.
His one philosophy I know he did have was, and I think this again influenced the development of Telnet, was the fact that he believed that Nigerians were very intelligent and they can make things happen. And Telnet was supposed to be one way to prove that.
My first impressions of him, looking back for those first few months working with Telnet, he actually did walk the talk when it came to allowing people to try to be the best that they could be.
And so here I was with this person who knew engineering. And so just even learning, being close to him, Dr. Carew was somebody who was always imparting knowledge. And you couldn't stay with him without him, he wanted you to learn.
It was because of the milieu in which Dr. Carew and Dr. Dendoye functioned. And this focus was anything an expatriate engineer could do, we could do better.
By the time he retired, they found out that there's really no feeling about the fact that it's not there because we have taken time to groom people up, and build up an institution rather than just a company that had to wait for him to be around before anything could be done and all that.
He was a man that, with Dr. Carew, nothing is impossible. He will just tell you, look, it's possible, there's nothing impossible if you want to. If you want to, you will do it.
I used to season ethnic chauvinism. Aye, we're black, we can do it better than anybody else. I don't want any foreigner coming over and telling me what to do or how to do it in my own country.
He wanted to make a difference in this nation. He just wanted to make a difference. That drove his decisions, every single thing he did.
He had loads of ideas. I mean, like, I was always tongue-in-cheek. He would come up with, oh, we'll do this. We had dreamt of different companies, even said we'd go into avionics.
With talent, there was no glass ceiling. You can rise to anything you want to get into, and that was it. So I think he believed that in that a lot. I also believe he saw the good in people. He basically ran an organization. You could tell that he trusts a lot of people. He ran an organization based on trust.
What brought us together really was the values. He had strong values which I shared, of honesty, integrity, hard work, excellence, and I would say that to do business with, to work with anybody, the values have to be. You have to have the same ideals, the same sense of wrong, sense of right. That's very important.
And he taught me principally what business is. He taught me integrity in business. He taught me, that when you do business, you do it strictly as business. And when you want to play, play.
He was very ethical. Dr. Carew would not joke with integrity and honesty.
You could shake his hand and the deal was sealed.
In his work ethics, he took work very seriously. And in his drive for perfection, because he just talking to him and analyzing issues with him, he always wanted the best. And this is not simply to speak well of the dead. He was somebody who really wasn't an ordinary kind of Nigerian, whether as an engineer or as an entrepreneur.
Even if we were taking a loss, he was very proud of the fact that, Wale, I told them we would do this. We are going to do this. And we took that on board.
Dr. Carew was that person that he will not ask you to do what he cannot do himself. He made you believe everything is possible. When you encounter or have the experience of meeting him and you have a discussion, you always live with that long-lasting, at times everlasting impression that
I recall telling my staff in industry that one of the best decisions I made was to have found Telnet and have remained with Telnet. It's very gratifying to know that you can rise to the top of an organization due to your hard work, the results you deliver, even though you had no affiliations whatsoever with the owners of the company. That was one of the strengths I think the company had. I think it came straight from the way he viewed life.
It affected me so much that I stayed about 20 years. I didn't go to another company until I retired. I started in '88 and I retired in 2008 within the same group. That is the kind of person Dr. Carew is. He instills discipline. He mentors you if you happen to know him.
he was not just a professional advisor. He could also and often play the fatherly role. And I never see him ruffled.
When he comes into my office, I view him like, because he has the stature of Mahatma Gandhi, and he also wears rimmed glasses. He looks at you seriously. You can see him from the, you just have to have some awe and respect for his command of the industry.
underneath all of this is a loving man who had the love of his own at heart.
ṣùgbọ́n ó kàn wá jẹ́ nìkan tó jẹ́ pé ó sò láìkì ẹbí ẹ̀ púpọ̀ ó fẹ́ràn ẹbí ẹ̀ púpọ̀.
He is the one in charge of our education. He is the one who used to check our results. He is the one who check our books. He is the one who we report to.
So ara bó ṣe láìkì ìwé tó gbà tó dé stage kan mo sunkún lọ bá mi sì ẹ̀kọ́ mo kọ́kọ́ lọ ìkànnà ọmọ mi ló lọ bá pé ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ ràn wá lọ́wọ́ agbára ẹ̀ pọ̀ ju mọ́mì lọ ẹ pé kí ni ìwọ ṣe kí ni ìwọ ṣe kí ni ìwọ ṣe kí ni ìwọ ṣe ó dẹ̀ dáhùn ló ní kò burú ẹ sọ fún màmá yín màmá sanwó wọn kí ìyá yín máa ṣoúnjẹ fún yín.
gbogbo àwa tá a jẹ́ ọmọ bàbá ẹ̀ kò fi ojú ta ẹnì kankan nù torí kò yí ṣe ọmọ tó ní ìgbéraga ọkàn rárá ní gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ó kó wa mọ́ra ni pẹ̀lú yíyọ̀ ọmọ ni tó bá bẹ́lẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ lọ títí bẹ́lẹ̀ bá dé bọ̀dá mi yóò bẹ́lẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ títí òun kálukú ò ní fẹ́ kó kúrò láàrin wa mọ́.
wọ́n á fún wa lówó kò sí nǹkan question tá a béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn tán ní dá àwọn máa kó wa mọ́ra ìjọ́kíjọ́ tán bá ń ṣe nǹkan bóyá àwọn wálé látẹ̀kọ́ wọ́n ṣe nǹkan gbogbo wa lọ dúró síbi mọ́tò wọn àti mọ̀ pé a máa rówó gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn ń jọ yẹn gbogbo ohun tó ń kálukú wọn á pè wá ní kọ̀ọ̀kan pé kí ni ìwọ fẹ́ kí ni ìwọ fẹ́ kí ni ìwọ fẹ́ gbogbo ohun tá a bá ti fẹ́ wọn máa ṣe fún wa.
kò ní jókòó ó lè lo wákàtí kan ó lè lo 2 hours ó lè má jókòó 10 minutes gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó máa bá ọmọ yẹn sọ lórí ìdúró ni dẹ̀ máa káwọ́ ẹsẹ̀ yẹn báyìí máa sọ pé ìwọ ńkọ́ kí ni skul tiẹ̀ kọ́ tiẹ̀ ìwọ ńkọ́ ìwọ ńkọ́ ìwọ ńkọ́ ikọ̀ ọkàn ló máa béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wọn pátápátá á dẹ̀ sọ fún ọ pé ntẹ́ ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe rèé o ntẹ́ ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe rèé o.
mo ti bá electronics lọ sí abroad mo gbé wọnú sójà electronics mo ṣe mo wà ní radar department gbogbo ìwé tí mo máa ń lò àwọn ọmọ guide mi àwọn ọmọ send ìwé sí mi wọ́n send instrument fún mi tí mo fi ń gbéra tí mo fi di èèyàn tí n bá nínú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mi báyìí ọ̀gá ni mo jẹ́ ilẹ̀ electronics mi ò lè gbàgbé bàbá mi ló jẹ́ mi lè gbàgbé mi forever.
ọ̀dà òbí ọlálọ́mí ọmọ abíṣu lórúkọ ọmọ ọ̀jà kádìlé rẹ̀ wà.
ọlọ́run kó ṣàforíjì fún gbogbo dáadáa tó ń ṣe ńgbà tó wà láyé kọ́lọ́n bá wa fi kẹ́wọn sálì jọ̀ ń nà gbogbo nǹkan tó dẹ̀ fi sílẹ̀ níyàwó lọ́mọ ní ọmọ ìyá ọmọ bàbá kẹlẹ́dùmarè kó mọ̀ jà kánjú lọ bá wọn kọ́lọ́n ṣamọ̀nà wa.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a rude joke. That there must have been a misinformation.
You know, there was a perception that he would always be there.
Every day of my life, I mean, since he died and what have you, his name comes up in my head. His name keeps coming up in my head. So it's part of my life. I can never forget him.
It was quite a shock that he had the brain tumor because, I mean, he was not overweight, he did all the right things, exercised, ate well.
He will be the one that will be advising you, don't eat that. Assuming you are in a function or something like that. He will be the one that say, don't eat that. That will be killing. So when I heard that he was sick and the nature of sickness, I couldn't believe it.
I guess nobody knows what causes cancer, but I must say it was a shock that he actually had that. I mean, I don't think I can run 100 meters, but he did a half marathon, so.
I mean, I used to tell myself, if only I could have this agility at that age. So the fact that he took ill, between you and I, all the years I've worked with him, I've never really heard once that Dr. Carew took ill.
And for someone that did everything, or seems to have done everything right, but the only thing you can say, well, God or nature knows best.
Each time I listen to this evangelist song of Dance with My Father Again, I remember him. As I'm remembering my father, I'm remembering Dr. Carew. So indeed, I'll miss him.
For the lives he has impacted, for the things he had done, for the belief he had instilled in a lot of Nigerians, I think he was a great leader. I think not just Telnet, not just me, I think engineering in Nigeria would miss him.
You know, I asked him when I was going to retire, I said there were other things I wanted to do with my life. And he said he didn't know anything else to do but just that, technology. And so he did live out his passion and purpose right to the end.
I mean, I think he can justly claim credit, you know, for being one of the founding fathers of InterSwitch. And of course, the company has continued to grow from strength to strength and is here for a long time. You know, so if nothing else at all, InterSwitch. But beyond InterSwitch, of course, is the businesses that actually, you know, birthed InterSwitch as a concept, which is Telnet, IPNX, all the iTeco, all the things they did, and so on.
It's generation from generation to generation. And it's not about Telnet, it's not about IPNX, it's not about InterSwitch or even the companies. It's about the people that he's impacted.
When you meet with the staff of the companies that he was responsible for initiating individually or jointly with other people, their behavior, their behavioral pattern, their attitude to work, their attitude to customer service, you will find that he has a good legacy.